Daughter's first birthday is this week, so I thought I would finally share her birth story, and I honestly don't even know where to start because so much of her birth had to do with the pregnancy. I'm gonna try to keep it short. Like 2 days after I found out that I was pregnant with her, I was rushed by ambulance to have a life-saving surgery. Turns out I had an ovarian cyst that exploded. They weren't sure if the pregnancy survived the operation or not. Then I had to be on progesterone in order to sustain the pregnancy because there was damage to my ovary, which meant that I could lose the baby at any minute. Anyway, after that, everything was fine. Normal pregnancy, great. I did get COVID at one point, which they think may have contributed to the fact that at around 27 weeks, I was diagnosed with an IUGR. She was measuring at about 20 weeks at that point, and I was getting lots of ultrasounds, making sure that she was growing on track. At 38 weeks, they determined she stopped growing. Actually, it was 37 weeks and 5 days. But anyway, I went in that next morning. They started the induction. Considering that this was my fourth baby, they and I assumed that this was going to be a very straightforward and fast induction. Typically the way they do inductions here, you start by taking some sort of pill that gets your body ready and dilated. They didn't want to use that for me considering my daughter's size. They thought it might stress her out too much. So they started with a balloon catheter that they put in my cervix, and yeah, my cervix was still really high and not ready at all, so that took several tries. They left that in overnight, so I slept really great. And then the next morning, they were hoping that it would just fall out because I would be dilated, but I was not. So then they had to cut it open to deflate it because at that point they wanted to break my water. I'm gonna backtrack a little here. My first two births I had epidurals. My third birth I had no epidural, and this one I went into wanting an epidural, and I wanted that epidural before I had my water broken. With my third birth, I refused any checks or having my water broken because it is so unnecessary and uncomfortable. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a part two. I'm so sorry.